Ready? Okay. All right, so today, guys, we are here with TV and film executive producer Ralph Farquhar. Thank you, Ralph. We greatly appreciate you being here with us.
Well, my pleasure.
You know, tell us a little bit, you know, growing up in Chicago from the projects, like, how did you go from West Point to becoming a Hollywood writer?
Oh, okay, that's a lot.
A lot of times with pursuing your dreams, you encounter a lot of hurdles, and whenever you mix your passion with your talents, you connect with your purpose, and you know that's enough to drive you to push forward, even when you don't have all the pieces to the puzzle.
It is our pleasure to welcome you to Los Angeles, where the local time is approximately 6:55.
So we're getting ready to go do a day in the life of pursuing your dreams. Biz Clips gets the opportunity to go behind the scenes with Ralph Farquhar and Kurt Farquhar in order to see how they were able to become so successful. Finally, we are here. We are here at the WB Warner Brothers studio, getting ready to go interview Kurt Farquhar. Also get to check out the playback for The Neighborhood. So come on, Biz Clips, Day in the Life. First off, you know, it's good to be here with you. You know, Biz Clips is excited for this opportunity. I mean, we're sitting here with Kurt Farquhar, 7-time BMI award winner, right?
Yeah.
Yes, very impressive. And 4 of those was with the King of Queens, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Very good. You know, just to start off with, just want to talk
Which was mixed right in this very room.
This same room?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So we're at the place where the mixing happened, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, to get started, you know, just tell me a little bit about like your passion and purpose. You know, growing up as a child, what are some of the first influences where music was introduced in your life?
Well, I always heard music. I didn't know what or why, you know, but I heard melodies in my head since I was 3 or 4 years old. I remember melodies. As a matter of fact, there was a melody that I used to sing over and over and over in my head when I was on the swing when I was a kid, that I actually put into a storyline of that my brother had written on a TV show called South Central many years later. Yeah. It was the same melody I used to hum walking down the alley with him, and when my mother would tell us to, hey, get out of here and you got to take your little brother with you. Yeah. So this started from very young, and then you guys were able to put it actually in a production. He didn't know it. I was, but I can't remember anything else. I can't remember names. I'm just the worst with it. But I tend to remember music all the time, and it's constantly going on in my head. Like right now, there's physically music going on with me while I'm talking to you.
Uncle, he died tonight. Yeah, it was unexpected. got me thinking.
He was behind the Reverend getting shot.
Oh, God.
And it couldn't be 3 minutes and 35. You sure you're at 15, 11, 16? And yeah, tell him in a session I really need to come to him. So this episode was done, but after seeing it, that's a classical piece that was where the producers licensed it, an existing piece, and we're going to use that in there. But now they've decided that they don't like it, and now all of a sudden I have to write a piece, and which we're going to use that they want to come reoccur as a theme. And it's 3 minutes and 35 seconds. So let's see if we can write 3 minutes and 35 seconds worth of music in the next hour.
And you do that here?
Yes, what we're getting ready to do at this moment.
How are you doing? Good, how are you? After you? Growing up in Chicago, when I did in the 50s and the 60s, Hollywood wasn't on the list of things that you should do, In my family, and Selena. Yeah. Nobody was talking about going to Hollywood or anything like that. In fact, we heard stories of family members that went to California or never heard of it.
Yes.
Exactly. So it was, but a military career was, an avenue for young black men especially, because that was where you got a fair shake.
Right.
I was in ROTC and all that. So when I got an opportunity to apply, I wound up at West Point, and having been there a few days, I realized it wasn't for me. Being there 1 year, 8 months, 8 days to be exact. Yeah. And I knew I had to find something where I was, could be more creative on my own, more of a self-starter. That used to be the phrase people used to use back in the day, a self-starter. I couldn't imagine myself going to an office with a tie on and all that.
No. How did you go from the streets of Chicago to creating your symphonic work at the age of 12?
Writing symphonic work at a young age like that was more of a dare to myself, wow, could you do this,
But that's unheard of.
I never, I'm sure there's others that have done it, I think Mozart would argue with you that he's did a lot of amazing things at a young age. I don't know whether it was really that great or not, but what was great is that I took the opportunity, I stepped up, and half of winning is showing up.
Right.
Whether you've heard that a million times, but that's the truth. There's so many times when you could just say, I'm just going to step back, or I'm not going to put my all into it. But the thing is, everyone is always scared. Everybody that ever won any battle, any war, ever achieved anything that was huge in their minds, did it from a place of being very, very scared. Not feeling like they could make it,
Exactly.
But they choose to go anyway. The hero is the guy that decides to, I'm going to go in there anyway.
Yeah, and they keep pushing forward.
Jen, you in there?
Uncle Gamby. He's gone.
What do you mean gone?
I don't know what to say. Come here, I'm sorry. Sorry.
My uncle, he died tonight. Yeah, it was unexpected. But it got me thinking, if I knew I only had one day to live, who, besides my family, would I want to spend that day with? I only came up with one name. You.
What do you expect me to say to something like that?
I don't want you to say anything.
And you work with so many people in the industry. Is there anybody on your radar that you would like to work with in the future or that you haven't worked with yet?
I think there's people actually I've worked with before I'd like to work with again. I'd like to work with Beyonce again. I just think she's such an amazing artist, and I think that the theme song that we did on Proud Family was just phenomenal.
Proud Family, what? You and me will always be tight. Family every single day and night. Even when you start acting like a fool, you know I'm loving every single thing you do.
So how are you able to, with the music composition, be able to, with that many different shows, how are you able to process specific music and timing for each individual show?
Well, you know, it really isn't as hard as it seems. Each show is different. They have, and I'm one of those composers. I take all of my inspiration from what's on the screen and from what those particular producers are saying. And those, I mean, Salim Akil is a very, very different director than even from Mara Akil.
Right,
I mean, they both have very different tastes, and they're different than Felicia Henderson, and Felicia's different than Ralph Farquhar, and he's different from and that's how it goes. I mean, it's actually like a breath of fresh air for me. It doesn't feel like more work in my mind. I feel like, oh wow, I get a break from this and I get to go and do that. No, and I get a break from that and I get to go and do this. And that kind of makes me feel like it's not such an onerous thing.
I see.
And I constantly have music in my head. I constantly see how I can tell stories paint stories with the musical brush. So
that's it's interesting, and having the chance to see you compose today and how you get into it and you hum and you harmonize with it and everything. It was very sentimental. It was actually emotional to be able to see that and mixed with the sound. So we just had the most beautiful experience. We got a chance to see Kurt Farquhar in action, composing music for Black Lightning. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen before. So awesome, great opportunity, a day in the life. This behind the scenes experience is something that I'll never forget. I can't explain what we just saw, but hopefully you all like it and check it out.
But I'm watching TV one day, and there was this TV series called Carib that was on.
Carib, a Quinn Martin production.
And it starred a young man. It starred Carl Franklin and Stacy Keach.
Starring Stacy Keach. Also starring Carl Franklin.
Carl Franklin happened to be, who's a big-time director right now.
Right.
But Carl Franklin was a very good friend of mine, who I had met because I lived in New York for about 9 months after I left West Point. He and I were best buddies back then. He was a struggling actor.
Okay.
And so...
and you met in New York?
Yeah, we had met in New York. So now he's on TV. I'm out here. You know, clear my $500 every 2 weeks, living the life in Beverly. I can't even spend all the money I got. I mean really, it was like crazy. I was living on expense accounts. You know, life was great. I see Carl on TV and I call him up, and back then, you know, they were listed, so I called him up.
Right.
Hey, Carl, congratulations, you made it, man. Great, I watched you on TV, and you know, Creed was like Miami before Miami Vice. It was like Miami Vice without the cool clothes or cool cars. Or, you know, black and white lead. You know. I said, Carl, man, I see you on TV. That's great. It's really cool. Just curious. You know, what kind of money do you make doing that?
Right.
He said $5,000 a week.
Oh wow.
Now you gotta understand. I'm living in Beverly Hills. I'm like chilling with $500 every 2 weeks. This guy's making $5,000. I figure like there was something wrong.
Right.
I was like,
what am I doing wrong?
Well, I knew what it was. I wasn't doing what he was doing. So I said, I watched him for like about 3 weeks. I said I could do this, and I figured I better get into the acting game.
That's when y'all ran. They had pizza. Oh, but y'all did run. Did you run, young blood, or didn't you?
Yeah, we ran.
You know, Brittany, thank you for coming out here to work on this project. I'm so excited.
I am as well. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Definitely had to have Glam Station out here.
Okay.
You know, and with that, how did you get started? I remember back at SIU, you used to do hair and makeup back then. And how long, it's been how long has it been since then?
That was fall of 2009, so 9 years, almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's flying.
It's like, where did the time go, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get started, and what inspired you to start doing hair and makeup?
Well, I always did hair and makeup for friends and family. I never really broadcasted myself to other clients, you know, potential paying clients. My fear was that I would be boxed into just working behind the chair for forever, and I knew that's something that I didn't want to do. I didn't want to limit myself. I went to a cosmetology open house, and the PowerPoint presentation was about different avenues that you can go in the industry. So that really just touched me, because I was like, this is a sign. So from there I enrolled, I got licensed, and it's just been history ever since. I've been pushing myself, and now that I have the Glam Station as my business, you know, it's just been a blessing to be able to do something that I'm so passionate about.
Look so pretty! Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate y'all being here, you know, on this project, you know.
You already know I'm excited.
I'm glad. All the way from Chicago.
I know. Styles by Stacy Lynn is making its entrance into Los Angeles. And it's all because of Biz Clips. So, of course, I wanted to bring a couple different looks, because I know you love to go with this boss lady look, but still want to be edgy and modern. So I brought a couple different looks for you.
And whenever you got started with Her Treasures Boutique, you know, what inspired you to get started and do that?
So what inspired me most was I never really found this classic item that was both edgy, sophisticated, but still young and fun. So I would shop online all the time. I was having packages come every day. And it seemed like I never got exactly what I wanted. So I was like, one day I woke up and I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own boutique. And I'm going to start it today.
Okay. All right. and you did it from there.
I did. Her Treasures Boutique was born January 22nd, 2014.
Oh.
Yes.
started it about an hour and a half ago.
Did you hum in it also?
You know, I was playing it. A lot of humming and grunting and stuff, you know. I think they got some of that on tape, so you can.
Oh, they were there
with that in. We get our keep Jared on, you know.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a great sound you guys have.
Yeah, we want to feature that.
I'm going to take this out.
Yeah.
Kurt, do you like the level of the sting when the mercury comes out?
Yeah.
Feels all right?
Yeah.
Okay, we take that clunk out. So let's try that.
Yes, and then it wants to convert.
Right.
That's fine.
Convert it?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit big there. If we can tuck that back just a little bit.
At 3450, 22.
So it's replacing here
where you were just working.
Just pop those in. Let's see. The way I always approach these is we're doing like a little mini movie.
Yeah.
A little mini feature. And, then, because sometimes, you're going to maybe release it on a Blu-ray. And so we don't want to just sit there and say it's only going to be on television. We want to mix it for every kind of format it can ultimately land on.
Yeah, there's the sound, the reverb, and the music. And the
You're a techie guy, so you can hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I could hear it.
You heard all that. It's very important to hear all the words and,
I can hear when you were going through the clips. You can hear the reverb when you paused it. You can hear that you were adding into the back.
Yeah, little different flavors and stuff like that.
Did y'all get all that? Huh? You get all that on tape right there?
She's pointing the camera on me, so she better be rolling. Because if she's not, she's missing some magic.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
You don't get this very often.
That starts off your documentary. That's the first thing they see. Right.
Oh, that's funny.
As you talked a little bit about it, but what were some additional challenges or hurdles that you ran into during the process?
Well, it was being a black actor back then, and now we're talking, 74, 75. The roles that were available were slave number 1, gangbanger number 2, and it was a little discouraging. It became very clear to me very quickly that I'm probably not going to have much of an acting career.
Right.
Just because of the way things were. And so I'm going to start writing. I'm going to write me a part. I was that stupid.
That's smart.
No, it was stupid. It was in the sense that I had no background for writing. Look, I took my communication courses. I knew how to write advertisements, a 30-second ad. I had no idea how to write a movie but I was auditioning, so I just read the scripts and I would just sort of copy the format.
Okay.
And I just, I said, well, let me write something.
Right.
And then I said, I started writing things, and then I would send them out, and back in the day, you would, it was, in hindsight, so very civilized. You would submit the scripts, but you would get a nice rejection letter. It would be typed out.
Nice and needed.
Yeah, and signed by all these big-time producers. And I'm submitting my scripts, and I would get these rejection notices, and I just started putting them on the wall, just tacking them on the wall.
You would actually take the notices and place them on the wall. So you didn't throw them away, but you put them on the wall.
Yeah, so I was kind of using it as inspiration. And then finally, I wanted to see how many, if I could get enough rejection notices to cover the wall, because it was looking pretty cool. So the wall was about as big as this. And I was like, I'm really getting rejected a lot. Which is good. That became the goal. I was getting to the point, I almost had the entire wall papered with rejections.
Wow.
I needed about maybe 20 more. And
then the whole wall would be covered.
And then I got, someone said they liked the script.
I remember when I was first coming up in television thing, I still really wasn't making a lot of money, and I never knew whether the lights were going to be on when I finally did get a place to stay. And I remember talking to one of my mentors at the time, Andre Fisher, and I said, "Geez, how do I get some money out of this? How do I just want to be able to afford myself, to be able to eat and not be struggling every month."
Something beautiful about
about writing for pictures and getting inside a character's head and seeing really putting yourself inside where somebody else is coming from. It's a really special thing to do and a special place to be. So.
Some of the hurdles and challenges that you ran into, obviously you were able to push forward and push through. What are some of those hurdles? I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but what are some additional hurdles?
I was homeless and living on the streets right before I got into television. I couldn't put 2 cents together. I was walking the streets of Melrose. I was sleeping in the grass. There was this little business that had a long hallway, and I remember it was still outside, but you could it would make it so I could literally be off of the street so people wouldn't see me.
Wow.
And 3 years later, I was running my first TV shows as a composer. So.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, that's such a motivational, example. I mean, because, like I said, a lot of times people run into hurdles and they say, okay, that's it. They throw the towel in and then they go back to doing, I guess, not so much their passion, but what was comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I never believed that that was it for me. I never believed that I couldn't get through it. I was actually more shocked than anything else. And the belief that you can go forward is everything. Right. That's the first step. Believing that you deserve to be here. I mean, I think a lot of times with minorities in particular, minority men and women, there's the big hurdle to get over is believing that you belong.
Sometimes we want something so bad we forget everything around us. We lose patience, we get frustrated, we feel lost. That's just life. Everyone is going to have hard days. But never forget why you started. Never forget the end goal, your dream. Enjoy the ride. Appreciate good days and appreciate the bad days. Never lose hope. Stay positive, stay focused, and trust the process. Have fun. Take every opportunity you can. Smile any chance you get. But most importantly, do what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, your happiness is what truly matters. A lot of times when you're trying to achieve certain things, disruptions will occur. And the disruptions are designed to throw you off course, to make you throw the towel and give up. And they can be some major life-changing disruptions. But it's so important that you stay the course, put one foot in front of the other, regardless of how hard it gets, how many disruptions happen. Because at the end of the day, there's always major disruptions right in front of really big blessings.
This is the Hollywood Confidential Legend Award for Ralph Farquhar for advancing positive, diverse images across multiple platforms. Kurt Farquhar.
You've created avenues that kind of encourage people for women empowerment and incorporated that in your productions. But not only that, you created avenues that early for people in their careers that made them very successful, like Tina Lifford, Lorenz Tate, who's on the popular show Power Stars Network right now, and Myra Akil. Where did that influence of infusing empowerment on others come from?
Show business is there's not a lot of people in it, really. But but to get in it, you need to know somebody.
Right. Yes.
And so once you get in any position, Sarah Finney, who I did Moesha with her, and later on,
right,
was a thing that she had come up with, her and Vita, her writing partner. But when Sarah was an assistant to Michael Moy, she was the one that said, "Ralph, you need to meet Michael."
Right. Okay.
So she made that connection for me when she was just an assistant.
Yeah.
So it's not something you develop once you get to be, the showrunner or whatever, a producer or an executive. Something, if you have the proper mindset, you can do from day one.
Right.
And that's what the people I tended to hang with all had that sort of attitude.
Oh, and that's good, because a lot of times people don't have that. They don't have somebody that has that same mindset, but, sometimes they can get discouraged. And, a lot of entrepreneurs, sometimes they don't have an actual physical team, but to be able to pull people in and take them along the way with you to success, I mean, that's amazing.
Well, yeah, I always say to people, look, the people who you need to know are your peers, because they're the ones who are going to allow you to progress.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about it. And it certainly was true for me and for a lot of people I know. And so all my opportunities came from the people who seemingly didn't have the real hookup, didn't have the real power. But but it's the little things that get you in, hey, Sarah knows Michael, Ralph. You need to know Michael. Okay, well, who's Michael? I didn't know there was his brother creating these shows.
Right.
Right. Nobody. How many people knew that Black Man was co-creator of Married with Children?
No.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people still don't know.
Right. I don't believe so.
Yeah. So that was a fortuitous hookup.
Yeah.
Changed my life.
In television, I think it. To be honest with you, people talk to me so much about their long-term plans. 4 or 5 years, 10 years out, and it's good to have goals and stuff. But you don't get to choose the road. It's like a marriage.
Right.
I don't. I just chose to walk down the road with my wife. I didn't get to choose what the road would look like.
Yes.
And so I thought that the road would be better with her as opposed to with anybody else, and even by myself,
Right.
And so you don't get to choose the road, but you have to prep yourself to be able to handle whatever curves or rocky events are going to happen along the way. Yes, there's things you want to try to get to, but when and how you get to them, one never knows. I just continually prepare myself and look at the path, try to see what is out there, what is needed, why it's needed, how I can make it better,
right?
Or how can I make it so that someone wants to come to me?
Okay.
I don't think that anybody's looking for me to do a John Williams score. If they do want that, they're going to probably go to John or somebody else. So I try to find out how to make my own niche and what's something that's unique about me, and help to tell the stories, because that's what musicians, composers do. They help to forward the story. So how can I do it in a way that makes it more unique, and so that you feel like you have to come get it from me?
How do you envision an app like BizClips being able to help somebody in your situation, or even yourself, provide that visual point of reference out there to society?
I've been fairly decent about being able to talk about myself and sell myself in the one-to-one situation, but a lot of people, and especially composers, and a lot of people in different businesses don't feel that strength, And so anything that's an extra tool to be able to tell their business story, tell the story of their craft, tell the story of what they're selling, tell the story about what they're trying to grow, tell the story.
Yes.
Anything that can help to to clarify that story and bring that story along and spread it to others is going to be a good thing for your business.
To me, a platform that would help really foster true creativity is what's needed.
Okay.
You know, because without any rules.
Without rules.
Who cares how many views you get? You know how all that's manipulated.
Right. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I talk to people. I know how it's manipulated.
Yeah.
But who cares about it? Why is that the currency?
Right.
Why isn't it the creative part?
Yes. And highlighting the creative ability and putting that visual aesthetics to it.
And the uniqueness of that creative. You know, not trying to nudge it toward some shared sensibility.
BizClips is a platform, a social media platform that gives people the opportunity to highlight themselves, you know, and be able to expose their talents, you know, their areas of interest, and it helps people to be able to pursue their dreams.
Check out BizClips!
Hi, it's Kurt Farquhar. Check me out on BizClips.
Hey, it's Unique from LA. Check me out on BizClips. Hi guys, my name is Carla. I'm from Venezuela. Go check my profile on BizClips.
What's up? Y'all rocking with the KIDD. Jameer, one time. Check me out on BizClips.
My name is Manny Fresh. Check out BizClips.
Hey, I'm Michael Nardelli, and your biz is my biz. Check me out on BizClips.
Man, I make the hits, so follow me on BizClips, man.
I'm Ty De La Rosa, and I'm from Los Angeles. Check me out on BizClips.
What's some words of inspiration that you would give somebody that wants to be an entrepreneur, do something similar, becoming a composer, TV and film composer such as yourself?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You know, take your fear and use all of the energy that comes from that to propel you to go where you choose to go. Mm-hmm. You know, it's and take be so in the moment that you're noticing every little change and shift and opportunity that comes by you, because you never know where the actual real one and the real power is in. Yes, people have this wild fantasy that someone gets successful and they're sitting back and I'm just fielding offers and I'm saying no to this, no to that, and eventually they say no. I've never gotten a positive thing happen to me from saying no.
Never give up.
Never give up on that dream.
Never give up.
Never quit, no matter what.
Not to give up despite the many obstacles one faces.
Don't let anyone stop you from pursuing.
Take little steps every single day.
Take it 1 mile at a time.
You can set your big goal, but then break it down into smaller goals.
Each one little step of the dream helps you get to the next one.
Focus on expanding your knowledge.
You need to get mentally prepared, because guess what? The journey is going to be difficult. It's going to be frustrating. When you get mentally prepared, you can do it. You mentally prepared to stay motivated and stay encouraged.
No distractions. Keep focused. Keep pounding.
Never be afraid to fail.
Say yes once and keep saying yes for the rest of your life.
Continue going. Whether they fail one time, you have to keep going again.
It only seems possible until it gets done.
Keep your goal or vision of your dream always in the forefront in your mind and everything you do. Always try to keep perfecting your craft. Never stop practicing. Never stop trying to be better at what you're doing.
Take advice. Listen to experts, ask questions, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Realize that you created this dream in your head, and you shouldn't expect anyone in the world to believe in your dream and what you plan to do. So you created this dream, and you are trying to build your life, not theirs.
You have to have that confidence within yourself to know and affirm that you can achieve what you envision.
Always make God first in their life. When you seek the Lord first, everything else will be added on to your life.
Dream at night, but work in the day.
Always remember where you come from.
Surround yourself with people who are encouraging and positive.
When you believe in you and the talent that you were blessed with, where else can you go? Nowhere but up.
Pushing yourself,
creating deadlines, making yourself do things that you don't usually do.
Every wonderful, positive thing that has ever happened to me in my career is because of a yes that I said. Yes to do it. Yes to move forward. So you say yes, I say yes more than the next guy, and hopefully it works out. You know? The power of yes.
The power of yes.
There it is.
The power of yes.
Starts with you.
Make sure you continue to follow our journey. We're in it for the long haul. We're having fun with it, and we hope you have fun watching our documentary. And make sure to stay tuned and check us out and download Biz Clips.